In the day's other news, disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison. The 67-year-old faced a maximum of 29 years after being convicted of raping a woman in 2013 and sexually assaulting another in 2006. In the New York courtroom today, Weinstein said he was, quote, genuinely confused. Gloria Allred, who represented one of the victims, said the sentence sends a strong message.
If you are a sexual predator and you are confused, all you have to do is remember this. 20 plus 3 years. This is a new day. It's a new day for women to know that if you have courage, there will be consequences for the predators who hurt you.
Weinstein's defense insisted the sentence was too harsh and accused the judge of caving to public pressure.
That number was obnoxious. There are murderers who will get out of court faster than Harvey Weinstein will. That number spoke to the pressure of movements and the public. That number did not speak to the evidence that came out at trial.
3 more sexual assault cases against Weinstein are under investigation in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills, raising the possibility that he could face additional charges. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders said today that he'll remain in the race for the White House. That is despite suffering a series of losses in yesterday's primary races to former Vice President Joe Biden. Biden now leads the delegate count with 864, compared with Sanders' 710. We'll take a closer look at the state of the race later in the program. The U.S. Supreme Court handed the Trump administration a win on its immigration policy today. It will allow asylum seekers to remain in Mexico until their claims are adjudicated. The move overturned a lower court order that put a partial block on the administration's policy. Some 60,000 people have already been sent back to Mexico to await their U.S. court hearings. The U.S. House of Representatives voted today to extend controversial surveillance tools. The bipartisan bill renews parts of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which authorizes monitoring of suspected spies and terrorists. The provisions were set to expire March 15th. The bill now goes to the Senate, where its fate is more uncertain. A rocket attack killed 3 soldiers, including 2 Americans, in Iraq today. It happened northwest of Baghdad at a military camp in Taji. U.S. officials say that at least 10 coalition members were injured. There was no immediate claim of responsibility, but the base has been hit before by Iranian-backed militias. In Afghanistan, the Taliban rejected a plan by the Afghan government to stagger the release of prisoners ahead of potential peace talks. An initial deal signed by the U.S. and Taliban last month called for 5,000 Taliban prisoners to be freed. Kabul said that it will let out 1,500 of the prisoners as a goodwill measure and urged the Taliban to halt their fighting.
The process and conditions for the Taliban's prisoner release is very clear in the deal, but the implementation depends on the actions of the Taliban and their visible commitment to reduce violence and to negotiate directly with the Afghan government.
The Afghan government said the remaining prisoners would be released after the negotiations begin, but the Taliban says it wants all prisoners to be freed at once. And the Russian parliament today backed new constitutional reforms to keep President Vladimir Putin in power beyond the year 2024. That would mean that Putin could rule until he is 83 years old. The bill easily passed through both chambers of parliament, but it still must be approved by Russia's constitutional court and a nationwide vote in April. Still to come on the NewsHour, we talked to the head of the DNC about Joe Biden's commanding lead in the Democratic presidential primary. COVID-19 causes nationwide school closures as administrators work to contain the spread of the virus. A nuclear weapons expert from the State Department discusses a potential new arms race with Russia.
This is the PBS NewsHour from WETA Studios in Washington and in the West from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at Arizona State University.